Hi, we're going to be talking about some of the changes today that we're going to be making to the pop-up camper. If you've read my blog, you know that I love to camp. For me, it's one of the best things in the world. But some health challenges have arisen, and now we need to look at how to make some modifications with the camper so that I can go camping again and have fun. One of the first things that we're going to have to do, the door of the camper, I don't know if you can see down to the bottom there, but it's about 11 inches high, and even at the best of times, whenever you step into the camper, it has a tendency to tilt. So to prevent that, we're going to put jack stands underneath the corners of the camper, and it's going to go from a 3-point to a 4 or 5-point on the ground, so it'll have that many contacts touching the ground, which will reduce the likelihood that it will tilt. One of the other things that we have about the camper is getting into the door. Now, I can do it, but I can't just step into it any longer. So the only way I can get into the door is to get on my knees, kind of crawl for a minute, and pull up on the table. Not cool. So we found these steps, which are good, and they really help. When it's actually set up at a campground, we're going to have the camper raised about another inch to a half an inch off the ground. So the camper, in addition to resting on the jack stands, is actually going to rest on the top of the stool. That will enable me to get up. Let me just open the door so you can see it better. That will enable me, to get up onto it a little easier. Now, I still have the problem with tipping and so forth. So I can't build a ramp or steps because everything has to fit below a certain line in the camper, or we can't hold it up. So in order to help me get into the camper, we're going to place my walker here, and that way I can pull up on this as though it was a handrail on steps. Pull up here, and here, and voila, I'm in the camper. Now, once I'm inside the camper, there's still a few things that has to be changed. So I'm going to invite you into the camper and take a look, and I'll show you a couple of things. Okay, and now here we are in the pop-up camper. Some of the challenges that are going on here is the linoleum floor. Now, the linoleum's in good shape, and there's no problem with the quality of the flooring. What happens is that as my other family members come in and track in dirt, it makes the floor very slippery. And when you're having to use a cane to get around, a slippery floor is not desirable. So one of the changes that we're going to be making is putting down carpet on the floor and affixing it so it won't come up when I walk. Now, the other challenge is the table that we have here. It's a great table. It's sturdy, but of course it's got this kind of sharp edge on it. So to work with that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a padded tablecloth on it to give just a little bit thicker surface there. Now, over here, going more toward the back of the camper, I have a couple of obvious difficulties. The stove, I don't ever use it, but the burner covers and protectors that are here on the stove will be difficult to fall again if I fall against it. So we've already kind of started the process of taking this apart, and we also have the sink here, and again, it's good and it's helpful for some things, but if I was to fall or needing to brace, my hand would continue going down until it got to the bottom of the sink, and that's not necessarily a desirable situation either. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off this entire, I don't know if you can see it, but this top section bolts on. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the top section. We're going to put a strip of wood here on the bottom, just basically a wood platform. And I'm going to cushion that and create a cover for it so it'll have some thickness. So if I was to stumble and fall against it, I wouldn't be hitting just wood, I'd be hitting something soft. The other thing that we're going to work on are the knobs. They're in good shape, good quality, no problem with that, but when you're falling, there's a sharp edge. So we're going to get rid of those and put knobs on it that have a little bit more of a rounded edge to them. Still if I fall, I'm probably going to get bruised, but this is not, the rounded knobs are not going to jab into the skin like these with a flat plate. The refrigerator, but it's good and bad. I can keep things cold in it, such as insulin when my sugar's up and I have to take insulin. It's very helpful for that. Obviously, juices, vegetables, things like that. But it scoots, and it does so very easily. So we're looking at a couple of things with this. I'm not really sure yet which way we're going to go, but we're looking at a couple of different options. One is to possibly glue a 1x2 section right here to help keep this from shifting. Another thing that we're looking at is putting some no-skid underneath the refrigerator. It's very cheap. You just roll it out and it keeps things from skidding. The good thing about the refrigerator is if I need to get up and I'm unsteady, I can push against the refrigerator to get up. It's just the sliding is the problem there. So that's an issue that we want to address and we want to fix. And again, with the knobs there on the bottom, we're going to leave this piece of counter the way it is. I wouldn't mind putting something padded on it, but I also recognize that I need a place for the suitcases. So the suitcases that we have are soft-sided instead of hard-sided, and we can sit one right there. Now, next to the door, we have an ice box, and it's very simple. Food would normally go on one side and ice on the other. Right now, as you can tell, I'm using this for extra storage, for which it's very helpful. But the top of it, again, there's some issues here, but we're going to leave this just like it is, so I'll have another place to put the other suitcase, and that'll also give a softer surface. Beds are okay. I don't really have a problem with the beds and the bedding, so we're okay there. So those really are the modifications and adjustments that we'll be making, and with those I'll be able to once again go camping and enjoy what I love as much as possible. So thanks. We're going to make some adjustments, and then I'll invite you back in to see the finished result. See you online.